Hello, everyone. Welcome back. If this is your first time with us, welcome. We're excited you're all here today for another episode of Cooking Connected. My name is Jordan. Joining me today is my coworker, Sajwa.
Hi, everybody.
And one of our Cooking Matters volunteers, Chef Jeff.
Hello.
So as every video, we always go over our typical Cooking Matters format. So Cooking Matters is a collaboration between Share Our Strengths Cooking Matters program and the University of Minnesota Extension. Cooking Matters classes are in-person or online nutrition-based cooking classes that meet once a week for 2 hours for a total of 6 weeks. Classes feature a nutrition educator and a chef that work together to teach our participants how to prepare a healthy, delicious, affordable meal, and as well as lots of fun nutrition advice along the way. So today we're going to follow that same format. Chef Jeff is going to be showing us how to make a watermelon gazpacho and some avocado toast as well. We'd like to thank the creators of the gazpacho recipe, Allie with GiveMeSomeOven.com. We would also like to mention, of course, our survey. We do have another survey for you all to take, and we really appreciate that feedback. So if you could please take our survey, you can find the link to the survey in the description box, and then I will also throw it in the live chat here in just a moment. For this survey, you will need a program code, which I have right here. This week's program code is E102262. Again, I will throw the link to the survey as well as the program code in the chat, as well as the description box of our video. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Sajwa and Chef Jeff for today's recipe. Thanks, everyone.
All right. Thank you for the introduction there, Jordan. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We've got a really awesome recipe today, but before we get started with the recipe, we are going to go ahead and cover a few housekeeping rules or things I want to kind of call it. You want to make sure that you are washing your hands before you begin the cooking process. Make sure that you wash your hands for at least 20 seconds, getting in between the fingers like so. Don't forget your wrists. Fingernails are a very important spot. If you have any jewelry on, take that off and make sure you get in those areas too. You can sing the ABC song or the happy birthday song twice, and that'll help you get to the 20 seconds. The next thing I just wanted to review is our mise en place. And today we have a very beautiful, very colorful mise en place that Jeff has prepared. But essentially he's just put everything in order, gotten all the things he needs today for the recipe out and ready to go. So he's not having to dig around in his cabinets. So that's a really important practice to get into. And then also, I don't want to forget, make sure that you are cleaning and sanitizing your cooking space before you do the mise en place and such. Cleaning, meaning you've removed any visible dirt or debris. Sanitizing, meaning you've gotten rid of any germs or bacteria that might be lying there on that space. So let's go ahead and get started with this awesome recipe.
All right. Thank you very much. So today we're going to be making Gazpacho de Sandia, which means watermelon gazpacho. I throw a little Spanish in there too, since gazpacho does come from Spain. So we're going to have some fresh watermelon. As you can see, I've got it right here. So right here, I have about 1.5 pounds of fresh watermelon. This one does not have the seeds in it, thank goodness. And I've got about 1/2 of cucumber, 1/2 of red bell pepper, some green bell pepper as well, just to break it up. Plus, it's from my garden, along with these Roma tomatoes. I have 3 large Roma tomatoes, 2 cloves of garlic, and 1 small red onion. And down in here, I have some diced jalapeno as well. Here's the whole jalapeno, but these actually, I'm sorry, this is jalapeno peppers, not green bell peppers. So that's the chop part. I've also I took some whole wheat bread and soaked it in water. I just did this maybe 5 minutes ago. As you know, if this was white bread, this would be really, really mushy. But this is a whole grain bread, so it still is intact because the fibers are still in this bread. The fibers, all the nutrients are still in this bread. And so it takes a whole lot longer to absorb, and it still holds together. But if you picked up a white piece of bread or a slice of white bread, it would probably mush up and fall apart. So I'm using this one. It's a little bit better. It's a whole lot better for you, I should say. So I'm using this one. You can use a crusty bread, any kind of bread you want. I've also got some fresh mint from our garden. This is an Asian mint, and I can't remember this. We got this basil. I can't remember what kind of basil we have, but that's it's not Asian. It's not Thai, but I can't remember which one it is. Sorry. And then I've got some fresh cilantro. You can add this to your gazpacho if you want to. It's up to you, but it also makes a really nice garnish. And so I've already measured up some sea salt right here. Let me get this over here for you. Some sea salt, a quarter teaspoon of cumin. I'm going to throw in some cracked black pepper, 3 tablespoons of, I'm going to use rice vinegar. You can use sherry vinegar. You can use balsamic vinegar. I wouldn't recommend using white vinegar or apple cider vinegar. You could use apple cider vinegar, yes. It's just going to be really stronger flavored vinegar. And then we're going to also add 3 tablespoons of olive oil. I'm going to use extra virgin olive oil. I've already washed my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and take this off. This is actually the first time I've used this mixer. Got it yesterday. My wife got it for me. So I'm going to go ahead and add the fruit. I think all this is going to fit in here at one time.
So I'm kind of looking at the ingredients that you're using here, Jeff, and I'm thinking this might be more of a savory soup, gazpacho. Is that true?
Well, I wasn't thinking of it as savory. Not really. I was just thinking of it as just a fresh,
More of a fresh flavor.
fresh, flavorful soup. Maybe the cumin and the pepper and the variety of peppers might make it savory. Yeah.
Okay. Just kind of curious. I don't really hear a lot about watermelon gazpacho, so.
No, not at all. But this, if you chunk it up, you don't make it into a smooth consistency. This would make a good salsa as well.
Oh, that's a great point.
Or chips.
Yep.
There's a recipe I saw made a long time ago. Fire something salsa, because it had has jalapenos in it as well. So that just makes it all right.
So Chef Jeff, we do have a question. If our viewers don't have a blender, do you have any suggestions for them?
A food processor, if you have that, that would be wonderful. Otherwise, a mixer, but you're not going to get the same kind of consistency.
Would this work if you mashed it with like a fork at all? I know.
Pardon?
Would this work if you mashed it with like a fork at all? I mean, I know you wouldn't get the same smoothness, but.
It would be really difficult to mash the onions and peppers.
Mm-hmm.
So that. So now I'm going to add some olive oil, 3 tablespoons. So move that all over. 2, 3, and of course, I would recommend making this one time the way the recipe goes, just like any recipe. Make it according to the instructions and ingredients, and then afterwards adjusting the seasonings and ingredients as you would like to have them.
Yep.
You can always, it's like some substitutions for me would be adding some strawberries to this.
Yeah.
Sweetness, or some honeydew or cantaloupe or peaches would be great in this one too, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna tear up this bread. It's pretty moist, but it helps with the develop the consistency that you want, some smoothness. Let me rinse my fingers off.
And like you mentioned, it is a whole grain option. So That's one way to kind of sneak those whole grains into this recipe.
I'm gonna tear up some of these mint leaves. Boy, this mint leaves smell good. The combination of mint, basil, cilantro, and like lime juice. You can add some lime juice to this if you want to. I like lime juice added to melons myself. And salt. Yep. So that's good. A little basil. And my wife cut this basil and mint just about an hour ago. We have community gardens down the street. We have so much produce in our gardens right now. So that's all of that. Let me see, double check. All right, everything's in here. See if this works. See what I do. What do I do?
There we go.
All right, let me just move some of that basil back down in there. This top. This worked great. All right. So let me get a spoon. Taste it. Here's the consistency of it. Can you see that? Oh, right. Let me taste it. Wow. Wow. That is so good.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what you want to do now is refrigerate it for about 4 hours. So if you want it faster, then pour this into a shallow container, cover it up, put it in your refrigerator so that since it's spread out more evenly, it's going to cool down a whole lot faster.
Okay.
If you're going to put it in your freezer to cool down, just make sure you keep stirring it every 20 minutes or so. Otherwise, it's going to freeze up because it's watermelon, right? So it's going to freeze up faster.
What a fun option for the summer. Wow.
Now, to this one, how do you take this off? Let me leave this on here for a minute so I can take it off. What the heck? Oh, there we go. Whew. All right. Like I said, this is brand new out of the box. I washed it yesterday. Okay, so like I said, I'm gonna leave that right there like that. I'm gonna come back and clean up a little bit and finish up with this toast.
And guys, notice how Jeff is cleaning as he goes, and he's doing an excellent job of keeping his cooking space organized too. That's something that's going to be really helpful if you're just getting started in the kitchen, or even if you're a long old timer in the kitchen. Having a clean and organized space is just really important in the kitchen. Makes things a lot easier. This looks like we're getting ready to do our toast here.
Okay, so what I did, how about some of those rounds today? And I just put them in the toaster. They're still firm, you know. You can have them still soft if you like, except it's your choice. But I'm going to go ahead and help soften it up by just drizzling on some olive oil. Olive oil and avocado go so well together, for me anyway. And I'm just gonna go ahead and put this right here, some scallions. And I have a little bit of some fine diced carrots. I'll put a little bit on top too for some color. These are some yellow cucumbers from our garden as well that I'm going to pickle. But I thought these have a really nice crunch to them.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and got some avocados right here.
Any tips for preventing that browning or that oxidation with the avocado once you cut them, or like
Yeah.
helping extend the green?
Good question. Yeah, the best thing to do is wait till the latest part of the preparation to do that. And then if you're going to prep it up ahead of time, lemon juice, just rub some lemon juice, brush some lemon juice on, or you could use a little bit of this rice wine vinegar too. Just some kind of acetic is going to help prevent it from turning brown so quickly. So I've got that. Also got, here's some feta cheese. I love feta. And you can use whatever cheeses you like. Cheddar cheese, mozzarella, fresh or the shredded. Rinse off my fingers. I'm also going to add, just for the heck of it, some sunflower seeds for a little bit of crunch. And use sunflower seeds as well. Give us some more protein. So I'm going to go ahead and garnish it with some, what I'm going to do is garnish it with some lemon zest. Give us some flavor. And there's so many ingredients you could put on top here. Diced, whatever meat you like, or tofu, if you like that, or some shrimp. Anything, any other kind of vegetables you could do. Let me see what I add. I'm just going to drizzle some more. Just a little bit of olive oil on there. A couple of carrots for some color. Like that. So now I've got two. I made one. I just took some regular, same bread I used before for the gazpacho. It's a 12-grain bread from the grocery store, just anything ordinary like that. So here's our gazpacho de sandía. So you can see, where's my spoon? That's it. Not sure if you can see the texture of it. It's a little bit grainy, but the flavor is wow. It's so good. And I think it makes a really nice accompaniment and colorful too with this avocado toast. So just make some garnish, some cilantro, I think would be fun. So basil or mint. And voila. Nice summer brunch item or lunch item or even dinner item right there. So easy. And how long did that take? It wasn't very long at all.
Not at all.
It's only been like 20 minutes for class. Of course, it has some preparation to do. So add another maybe half an hour of chopping up your watermelon and dicing up your peppers and onions and getting all the other ingredients together. So voila.
Wow, this is stunning.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Thank you. Sorry. Mm. Mm, 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 mm.
Oh, that looks like the perfect summer option for like lunch or like you said, brunch too. Love that.
Mhm. On the patio, yes.
Yeah.
You know,
If you had a little salmon with the toast, I could see that happening.
salmon, good idea. Yeah.
Mhm. Great job. Yes, thank you for that recipe demonstration. What does the soup taste in like?
It's a perfect blend of everything. Sweetness,
Mhm.
back of the mouth peppers, just a mild amount of the jalapeno. I'm tasting the mint, which helps brighten it up.
Mhm.
The olive oil and the vinegar are just perfect consistency in there. It's really, really good recipe. I'd recommend trying it.
Awesome. Well, guys, we just have enough time for a little nutrition. And forgive me if you hear a little bit of noise in the background. My dog is playing with his new toy and thoroughly enjoying himself. But today I wanted to talk about ways that we can make soups simple. Like Jeff said, soups are a really easy lunch or dinner option. And the great thing about them is that the leftovers can be frozen for another day. So that prolongs the life of your soup and it makes them an awesome meal prep option. So I kind of have like a little chart that I'm looking at right now, ways that you can kind of build your own soup, not necessarily following an exact recipe, but just kind of things or items that you might want to include in your soup. So the first thing is with this step-by-step, you'd like to have a protein. Now the protein can be anything from a meat, like perhaps beef, chicken, turkey, pork, but also things like beans and lentils. They can be cooked or rinsed from a can. Any of those options work fine. So you're gonna wanna have that protein. Next, the vegetables, and we recommend 2 cups chopped. Vegetables can vary again according to your taste, but some awesome options would be things like onion, celery is a favorite, carrots, mushroom, broccoli, tomatoes, zucchini, greens like spinach, kale, or chard. All of those would work well. I know that today it looks like we used some of the bell peppers we had, carrots coming in today, and quite a few other options. So those are great things to include into your recipe. The next thing that we recommend is, of course, going to be the liquid. So that's kind of what makes it soupy, right? So for your liquid option, you can always just use water. But for more flavor, we also like to recommend using a low sodium stock or broth. We recommend a low sodium just because that gives you the control over how much sodium you're adding into your recipe. And also it encourages you to go ahead and flavor with those herbs and spices like Jeff used today. And then finally, the whole grains. So 1.5 cups cooked. Your whole grains can vary from things like wild rice, brown rice, quinoa, whole wheat pasta can work. All kinds of things can work that would be fine in such a recipe. Today, it looked like we kind of used that bread and it also acted as a thickening agent too, right? So that was a whole grain option, which was a really smart thing to add into this recipe. So just keep those things in mind. That's just kind of a general structure of any soup. So we recommend go ahead and try that and see what you come up with and get a little bit creative as you get comfortable in your kitchen. Just a few notes, some chef tips we like to call them. For softer vegetables like spinach or zucchini, they are going to cook faster. So during the last 5 to 7 minutes would probably be the best time to add those into the recipe. When you are cooking your whole grains, you can follow the package instructions if you're looking for guidance on that. And then you can cook them ahead of time and refrigerate and add to soups as you go if you like, or you can go ahead and cook it with the soup. And then also seasonings, I have some recommendations that would work well. Things like pepper, herbs and spices like thyme, parsley, cumin, all of that would work really nice. Some minced garlic, hot peppers like the jalapeno we use today, ginger, and then the citrus zest. Jeff did a really great job of adding those kind of things in with today's recipe. All of those things would work really well, but just remember, if you are going to be using some fresh herbs, it would be best to kind of add those at the end of the cooking time to keep the flavor fresh. So those are just a few soup tips that I wanted to give today. Today is just the perfect example of a summer soup. And I always feel kind of weird about eating soup in the summer. But you know what? With the way that watermelon gazpacho is looking, I'm going to have to try that. And it's a chilled soup too. So that's just perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Chef Jeff, for that beautiful demonstration. And as always, beautiful plating. Thank you. And thank you, Sajwa, for that nutrition education. With that, we're going to go ahead and wrap up today's Cooking Connected. As always, please don't forget to take our survey that is in the live chat and is also in the description box. Let's go ahead and look at our program code one more time. There we go. Today's program code is E102262. We hope to see you all back next Thursday at 2 p.m. for another episode of Cooking Connected. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great week.
Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye. Thank you.